And first this morning, civilians living under siege as Russian forces step up assaults on major Ukrainian population centers after disregarding a planned ceasefire that was intended to evacuate people safely. Here's President Zelensky on the danger his citizens face.
You cut the Ukrainian civilians off electricity, water supply, heating. You leave the people without food. You leave us without medicines. You shoot the routes which could be used for evacuation. There is no weapon left that you wouldn't deploy against us, against the free citizens of Ukraine. We have nothing to lose but our own freedom, besides our own dignity. This is our greatest treasure.
More than 350 civilians have been killed since this war began, though that number is expected to be much higher. Joining me right now is the former president of Ukraine from 2014 until 2019. Petro Poroshenko is on the ground in Kyiv, where citizens are bracing for another night of attacks. Mr. President, thanks very much for being here with us. It is 5 p.m. right now in Ukraine. What can you tell us as far as what you're seeing on the ground?
Situation is extremely difficult. Fortunately, we have a disastrous humanitarian situation in main cities. In Mariupol, we have dozens and dozens of killed civilians. With Kharkiv, with Chernigov, with many others. But around the Kiev, today we are evacuated. Today, yesterday, day before yesterday, altogether only our battalion evacuate more than 2,500 people from the Irpin, Bucha, Vorzel, and a lot of dead people right on the street. In Irpin, they have an artillery fire on the Orthodox cathedral, and inside the cathedral was the people who wait in evacuation, who waiting for our battalion. And unfortunately, also, we have lots of casualties among the civilians. With this situation, Putin make a war crime. We definitely proud with the brave Ukrainian soldiers, with the unity of Ukrainian people who demonstrated and ruin all this scenario of Putin. First, he want to capture Ukraine in 48 hours, then in 72 hours, but today is 11th day of our fighting, and more than 10,000 Russian soldiers are killed in Ukraine during this mad invasion. And we just demonstrate that Putin is not just an aggressor. Putin is the war criminal. Putin make crimes against humanity, and the whole world now will see that the picture of Ukrainian cities from Bucha, Vorzel, Irpin to the Chernigov and Kharkiv and Mariupol are much worse than in Aleppo. Can you imagine that this happening in the center of Europe in the 21st century? And with this situation, absolutely, this is the genocide against Ukrainian people. We are the only sin of Ukrainian nation. It's just that the fact that we want to be free, we want to be democratic, and they hate the idea to restore the Soviet Union second edition.
Well, Mr. President, the free world is watching the courage on display by you and your colleagues, and certainly President Zelensky. Tell us what Ukraine needs right now. We are going to be speaking with two congressmen coming up who have been working on a plan to get you air power from Poland. Tell us specifically what Ukraine needs right now to fight this aggression.
Thank you very much indeed for this question. This is extremely important. We should keep Ukrainian airspace above Ukrainian soil. With that situation, definitely we need the military jet to cover the nuclear power station, because nuclear contamination do not see the borders. And Article 5 of the Washington Treaty do not protect the Western world from the disastrous Putin madness. We need our fighters to cover the civilians. And 72 fighters, which is now is in Poland, is in Slovak Republic, is in Germany. We urgently, this is the question on hours, and every single hour of the delay, this is the hundreds of Ukrainians killed. Our pilot is one of the best pilots in the world, and already almost 100 military jets and helicopters of Russian armed forces are already hit. And I doubt that anybody can imagine that army, which I am proud as a commander-in-chief of Ukrainian armed forces in the year 2014, 2019, create these armed forces, and they are so powerful. And point number two is the attacking drones. We have it in Bayraktar from Turkey. They're extremely efficient. Please combine it with all NATO member states, supply it to us. Point number three, this is the Javelin, NLAW, and other anti-tank rocket launcher, because we have more than 1,500 Russian tanks and armed personnel vehicles, and this is impossible that Ukrainian soldiers with their light automatic guns goes against tank. This is extremely efficient weapons we definitely need it. And with that situation, I think that the anti-missile complex and anti-aircraft, including Stinger, this is also urgently needed. Please, we needed thousands to protect not only Ukrainian soil, we're protecting here the Europe security and global security at the end of the day. And next, it would be sanction. If Putin do not, first of all, I want to thank the United States for their leading role, President Biden, administration, Congress. This is extremely important what we have from you, but every single day it should be new sanction. I want to thank you for the sanction of the Visa, MasterCard, American Express, because all the Russians should understand if they support Putin in killing Ukraine, this is their responsibility, because Putin are fighting not against just Ukraine, as was my answer if you asked me before 24th of February. Now he fighting against humanity, against collective West, and we should be united to fight against him.
Mr. President, the Ukrainians and the Russians are supposed to be talking again. These talks have yielded nothing in the last 11 days. What are you expecting the result will be from these talks, which are expected tomorrow?
First of all, this is the third round of negotiation, and I have a very big experience for negotiation with Putin, and I have several recommendations. Point number one, please don't trust Putin. Putin promised me many times ceasefire, releasing of the hostages, withdrawal of the Russian troops from Ukraine. He never keep their promises. And point number two, please don't be afraid of Putin, because you should look at Ukrainian now, and Putin go as far as we allow them to go. That's why we should be united and strong. And point number three, definitely I prefer the diplomatic solution, and definitely there is no any nation in the world who wants the peace more than we Ukrainian. But I think that if we want to have the results, shouldn't be result tete-a-tete. This is the weak Ukrainian position, and we need to be united world together with a representative European Union, for example, France and Germany, and with the participation of United States. This is just to demonstrate the unity and demonstrate the efficiency of the negotiation. Definitely, I keep my fingers crossed, and I hope maybe it would be a miracle when they have reached but I'm not very much optimistic with this situation.
Mr. President, finally, let me ask you, you were president from 2014 to 2019. You saw Vladimir Putin invade Crimea so many years ago. Now some lawmakers are saying that his mental capacity is declining. Is this the same Putin that invaded Crimea? What can you tell us based on your experience with Crimea?
First of all, the Putin invading Crimea before my presidency. During my presidency, he invaded Donbass, and I am proud that me as a commander-in-chief of Ukrainian armed forces released from the Russian troops 2/3 of the occupied Donbass, including Mariupol, Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, Kramatorsk, Slaviansk, and many others. And with this situation, I think Putin is definitely going worse and worse. My first meeting with him was in 2004. That was one Putin. In 2014, that was another Putin. And now, please believe, his mental capacity is completely different. And I think that he is a mad person. And I think that the danger for the increasing the dangerous with the global security is definitely rising.
Okay.
That's why everybody should understand that this is not just Ukrainian war. This is our common war, and we need to stop Putin. We do not have any other way out.
Mr. President, thanks very much for being here. You are there until the bitter end, and we appreciate you joining us this morning. We send you our best this morning. Petro Poroshenko live this morning in Kyiv. Thank you, Mr. President.
Support us in Kyiv here during the war. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Yes, we will be watching this. Thank you so much.